are drowning in information, and it is essential to verify the information and understand how to present that information also for viewers or readers to be able to digest it.
The duty or the mission of journalism is to give voice to the voiceless, the real victims of the climate change, the poor, the marginalized, the landless people who are in the conflict zones, who are in the most vulnerable areas. So by disseminating such a real kind of stories, by sharing such a burning truths with the world outside, only we can survive as a collective of humanity.
If we want to really see the real-time problems of climate change, then you should actually visit homes of farmers or fisher communities or even tribals for that matter.
Because I have worked extensively with indigenous communities a lot, so their voices need to be taken in account primarily. I mean, that should be done without delay, because these are the ones, they represent 20% of the global population but protect 80% of the biodiversity. So that's a huge chunk of biodiversity.
The need of the hour is to tackle climate change and impress upon the policymakers to bring upon changes.
They should establish separate desks into their departments, into their newsrooms. They should train their own employees irrespective of the beat.
I think eventually it sort of needs to seep into all the other sectors that we cover. So at the intersection of gender, technology, health, economics, it kind of is a part of all our lives all the time.
We need to move away from the event-based reporting, like it only happens when there are floods or some other disasters, or when the monsoon is erratic or not or delayed. So we really need to move away from that and see how climate change is impacting day-to-day lives and livelihoods of different communities. Also do some kind of solutions journalism.
To actually take the message of the climate change to the young journalism students and kind of create an awareness, create a community who can actually talk about climate change, which is actually a real threat to the world. So because there is so much of fake news, so much of misinformation in the community, in the society. So I think these are the real change makers.
Storytellers can go a long way in enhancing the dialogue, and the sooner we learn the tools to do so, I think the larger the number of people we can reach out to sort of spread that kind of awareness.
And I also got to hear diverse perspectives on how to be a trainer, kind of looking at my role a little differently from being just a journalist and a researcher.
I think it is one of the rare initiatives which is trying to build capacities of journalists who work in environment and climate space, but from data and fact-checking perspective.
I think this is where the beauty of this workshop is there. It's a in-person workshop, so learning is more. There's also sort of relationship building, getting to know each other. So that way I think it's a very well-crafted, well-planned workshop, and I look forward to learning more in times to come.
This is a very specific and a very niche initiative which is covering climate change reporting, and not just reporting, it's covering two things: how to use data, and the second is climate misinformation. So as climate change reporting is increasing in India and the world, we have to look for ways on how to improve our reportage on these areas and how to better engage with the audience.
I think as a country, we're already running behind when it comes to enhancing the narrative around climate change. So it's about time that we as a nation address this, and journalists, of course, are a pillar of a democracy.
Because it is training the trainers who can train more people, and people who are educated to understand what is fake news regarding climate. A number of such people will increase.
It is very important at a time when lot of misinformation is spreading across the country. In the case of environmental reporting, in the case of climate change reporting, as journalists, we have to fight all this false information, and we have to segregate between the false information and right information. In such a scenario, to continue with the objective kind of reporting on climate change and environment, such a training is very vital. The tools introduced in this program are very vital and very crucial for fair, independent and balanced kind of journalism or reporting?
Data is something which we all journalists grapple with, because as such we are not really trained in science and mathematics and looking at data and numbers. So for that, this training has really helped us, because a lot of climate reporting requires us to look at exhaustive reports, to look at data and make sense of it and build stronger stories, because we want to marry the field reportage with the data which scientists are bringing out. So that kind of, I think, guidance and help has come from this training.
The existing resources in newsrooms don't equip us with these resources.
It's a tool that needs to go out to everyone. It's not something you keep contained. Journalism is now, done by everybody with a cell phone, which means everybody needs to know how to report. And now with climate, data is becoming a very big thing. And I was amused that how these tools exist, but till now I haven't used them ever, and how these are so easily accessible.
Everything, there's nothing on this planet which is not affected by climate change. So it's also cross-sectoral.
Climate change is a real threat to the world. It is actually affecting everyone.
Nobody is safe till the time everybody is safe.